So yeah, let's get started, I suppose. Oh, by the way, I was up in Sheffield last night, and the weather was atrocious. I was, oh, there was
Amazed you could get back.
yeah, there was rivers of rain coming down from the Hallamshire Hospital. It was literally like some kind of biblical episode. So that's coming to London, apparently.
To me, it's a weird concept. Sheffield can flood. I always thought, well, hang on, it's all on hills.
Yeah, a good point actually. Well, I went up to see the
Down into the valleys, doesn't it? You know,
I went up to see Wednesday play, and of course I got called off, so that was pointless. Anyway, there you go. Right, growing up in Sheffield, tell us where in Sheffield did you grow up?
I grew up on the side of town that is Woodhouse, Manor, Intake.
Oh, tough.
Well, my mum and dad definitely from the two toughest estates at the time, Manor and Arbourthorne.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
they were legendary.
council house all the way, were they?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was watching I think it was Newsnight, and they were doing a report, and it was like, and on some of the worst council estates in Britain, blah blah blah. And we are going to go to them now, and it was still Manor and Arbourthorne. I was
Oh my
thinking,
God.
oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, and my dad was a smart bloke, but coming from, really working class background. I mean, the thing then, Martin, wasn't it? It's like the kids had to go out to work to earn money for the family, or it
That was
was
it.
at my level. Yeah. So he never got the opportunities like to go to university.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, my dad. How old is your dad? Passed away? Is he still with us?
Passed away when I was 25.
Right, right.
Long
So
time
when
now.
was he born, roughly? Do you know?
Well, 37.
Right. Well, my dad was born in 1907. So, I mean, he grew up in a period. He grew up in the when he was the height of his ambition was to have an office job. And
Yeah.
I know you'll work in a steel firm like everybody else, And he had all the the kind of standard qualifications and everything. Never, obviously, no university, but yeah. And that's why he spent 50 years in a tool making shop, And he,
Yeah. Well, then my dad did too. He was and in steel, of course, but on the technical drawing side,
oh,
you
right.
do that. You know how you can never really work out what your dad actually does
Right.
unless there's something like a policeman or a teacher or a nurse or something like that or a doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, Dad, what do you do? And he eventually said something I understand. He says, well, Mark, what I do is design the machines that make other machines.
Interesting. So that's good. So
Yeah.
my dad was probably making the machines that make other machines. So he used to explain to me this idea of, very skilled fine grinding of tools to within like a thousandth of an inch, and that was his pride and joy was a micrometer. Look it up. So he had. I mean, I like a lot of people in Sheffield. They had a lot of pride in their craftsmanship. It was a big thing in Sheffield, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, when did you realize that you were interested in music?
Really early. Got interested in music with the glam thing.
Yeah.
So T-Rex I fell for immediately and have never fallen out of love with Mark. Absolutely adore Mark. And then the Holy Trinity, of course, Bolan, Bowie, Roxy.
Yeah, exactly.
So got into all that, which was for me when I was about 11, something like that. And I distinctly remember going to junior school, must have been late junior school, and hearing it was getting a bit later on in Mark's career. I think it was Truck on Tyke. And I was actually thinking thoughts like, oh, I don't like that production. He's done it. It's too dense.
Wow.
And why is there's too much echo on it? Which is a strange thought to have.
A very odd thought at that age.
Yeah, it was very real though. And that totally set me off. And Dad could see I was interested in music. And I said, look, I just want a guitar.
Right.
So they bought me a guitar from one of those little shops on Chapel Walk.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. And it was a really rubbishy steel string acoustic. The action was about this high.
Yeah, and it hurt your fingers, didn't it?
It was. I'm going to go as far as to say it was impossible to play.
Right.
Really,
Right.
you know, and it was just cheese wire on my little fingers.
Horrible.
And also the sounds I got out when I could do some of it, I thought that doesn't sound like Mark's guitar. I just didn't understand the difference that electric guitars made. But anyway, so learned the basics of guitar, and very quickly, joined a school band, playing dreadful stuff like All Right Now, Lynyrd Skynyrd. The name of the band was Van Diemen.
Van Diemen. I'm sorry. It's so far off that side. It's come back on the other side. That I think it's really good, actually. Van Diemen.
Van Diemen.
I think you should revive that. I'm sorry. It's good. You should just put one single out under the name Van Diemen. It's great.
When we were in the studio, we used to muck about, and I'd bring out some like rocky, slightly heavy riffs. Marty came without this song called "Into the Valley of the Heathens Go."
Yeah.
Into the Valley of the Heathens Go. That it was good, it's good for like busting those studio nerves.
Yeah. Wow. And
So I got into music, and then
what age were you at Van Diemen age?
15.
Right.
15, 16. And then it was, wow, wham bam, punk came along. And oh wow.
Yeah, CBGB. Yeah.
Loved. Yeah. Never went there, but it's one of those places that I wish, you've probably been in the toilet with Debbie Harry.
Oh, I wish I had. No, I went to pay homage to the location. I mean, obviously, I think it had closed down then, but we went to the, where it was, and went, I mean, we tried to put yourself in the headspace of, kind of Blondie and Suicide and all that stuff that was going on at that time, because they were a massive influence on us. And it sounds, even though you're a bit younger than me, it sounds like we had very similar influences, because I've been reading up in a bit more depth about vice versa, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But it seems like your influences are quite similar, glam, American kind of alternative rock in the 70s, and punk, really. Would you say
Very much
reasonable?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, everything just moved so quick then, didn't it? Or has it changed, or is it just me? And that's because I was perceiving it with a child's mind. It was hard to even keep up with what was going on.
It's true.
It was new genres were being invented like every 6 months, things that had never been done before, and all at the same time. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I miss that now, because that does not seem to be happening, hasn't for a long time. I mean, a perfect example of that is, for example, you could drop "I Feel Love" on a dance floor within the context of a modern DJ set.
Oh, yes.
No problem. Nobody will blink an eye, and they'd love it. That's like, imagine we're on the dance floor at the Crazy Daisy
Yeah.
and they start playing like actual Glenn Miller. I mean, it's the same time period.
I
Of
think
history.
the Humour League girls would have probably danced to it, though. Glenn Miller, they'd have been going like this with their black gloves on and there, wouldn't they?
Swoosh.
I'm dancing at this point, podcast listeners. Yeah.
Yeah.
The futuristic sway. Yeah. Future.
What was that band? Chanson d'amour.
Oh, what was it called? Manhattan Transfer.
Manhattan Transfer. That was kind of shades of that, wasn't it?
Yeah. I feel like we're like Smashy and Nicey, you know. Two old DJs, nostalgic.
No shame.
No shame. No shame. I love all that period. My favorite. Well, okay, here's a good question. What's your favorite period of music? I'll give you a 5-year period. If you're going to pick one 5-year period,
One.
music. If you're going to pick one, what would it be?
Probably that punk period, you know, when it was transitioning from glam to punk.
Go on, and give us 5 years.
Being 16, you know, oh my God, it was just so exciting. And I actually used to have a kind of weird melancholy about it at the time. And I was saying to myself, Mark, it's never going to be this good again.
Oh.
Yeah, I that is what I really felt. I thought, oh, it's so good. Oh, and it's never going to be that good. Yeah. So that was brilliant. Ever? Yes, the Sheffield version, though. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it became to me what wasn't punk. You know, with the kind of sugar hair,
Yeah.
You know, walking down King's Road, punting money for photographs of tourists. I just thought, well, that's nothing to do with. I mean, Sheffield was a more sort of. You go to the oh God, what are they called? Places where people give second-hand clothes, jumble sales.
Yeah.
I've not said that word for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and you found out, oh, that's interesting, and then putting it together in that was more Sheffield punk. Yeah, and then you might have a bit of a kind of razor blade earring or something like that. And remember the jelly sandals?
I do. I used to love it. The girls that I used to, the kind of group of girls that used to hang around the workshop where we used to rehearse, and we had parties there. It was a thing for one summer. In fact, I would go as far as to say the summer of 70, the very hot summer, 76, it was at the peak of the jelly sandal craze. And but God, you couldn't wear them, could you? They make your feet sweat. It's horrible.
Yeah.
They look
horrendous. I'd been wearing them since a kid because we used to go like to, I think, Millhouses Park, and I used to just love walking in the stream.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna end up So I've been wearing those jelly sandals for years. So it was like, oh great, jelly sandals are back. So that was really fantastic. But I'm gonna say, bit of a caveat. You know, I had this really strong thought that it's never gonna be that good. And to me, it wasn't all the way on through the 70s and much of the 80s, even though, you know, there was our period of like explosion of new pop, if you like. And then acid house came along, which I was very much part of, and in that very early group of London revelers who were in Shoom, you know, like the first 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I bumped into Kevin Roland one day.
Yeah, well, I love Kevin. He's a good friend of mine, yeah.
Is he? Well, they used to be on the same label as ABC. The
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So we sort of kind of would bump into each other again. And I said, Kevin, do you think this is just the bee's knees? I said, it's good. It's as good as punk. And he went, no, Mark, it's better. So, Kevin,
Kevin's funny. He's a funny lad.
the ultimate authority on youth.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember he came to see M17 perform in the mid-90s in Brighton, in one of the big venues down there, and it just turned up at the door in kind of before the rehearsal, just after the sound check actually, and he said, "Oh," I said, "Hi, Kev, come in and we'll have a chat," and because I hadn't seen him for ages. And he was really down in the dumps. He said, "I'm thinking about giving it all up, you know. I don't know if there's any future in anything that I'm doing." And we had to sit him down for an hour and talk him off the ledge, you know.
Reminding me was a genius.
No, I mean, I think the first Dexys album is just a work of stone cold beauty. I mean, you know, how can something that's, I don't know, for that album, I used to think, how can something sound so authentic when it clearly is a bunch of young lads having a go? You know, it really sounded like it came from the scene, the original scene. It was meant to be tribute.
That's a passion. The passion in it was the thing.
I loved him. He went a bit tits up when he started wearing dresses and stuff, I suppose.
Oh, I was utterly baffled by that. So, got to respect it though, still, haven't you? But I don't know whether that was one of his looks or whether it was genuinely part of him. I have no idea.
I think he thought it was rebellious, and that's why he liked it. I mean, I viewed it in a similar way to like Bowie wearing a dress on the original front cover of Man Who Sold the World.
Yes.
But I never got the sense that he was striking out. He didn't make a big deal out of it, like Eddie Izzard or something, you know.
But well ahead of his time again, because the trans issue is really to the fore at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I don't think it's going away. But that's a very interesting conversation. We'll probably talk for about an hour on that alone. Anyway, let's get back to the plot, shall we?
Yeah.
Vice versa. Let's talk about vice versa, because, you know, when we were concurrently starting our careers in Sheffield, actually, we knew Steve better than you or Martin, actually, because there was the Gun Rubber fanzine that Paul Bauer used to organise, and I wrote for that. And
worshipped it.
Sorry,
worshipped it.
Oh, yeah, it was a good magazine. I was known at that time as Art Zero. That was my
That was you, was it?
Not the Bloom, yeah. And I went out, and I
Violet Ray.
Yeah, Violet Ray. That was Addy. And
was that a take on Violet May?
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
And Man Ray. He loved Man Ray and all that stuff too.
Man Ray, yeah, lovely.
And just before we get off this subject, my most famous piece was a reviewer did of a review of Deep Throat, the film, which you couldn't actually see in London apart from like private members clubs or something. And of course, Amsterdam, you could see anything. So we went to see Clockwork Orange, which you also couldn't see in Britain.
I know, yes.
In a cinema out there, and then we went to see Deep Throat. And I don't know what I said in the review. I think I said something like, quite titillating at first, but then it gets a bit boring after a while, you know. It's a one-trick pony, really. Anyway, God, that's taking me back. Let's get back to Vice Versa. So, what inspired you to form an electronically based group?
Loved Kraftwerk.
Right.
And then me and Steve, I got to know Steve through his fanzine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in Top Rank one night, And I got it in my head, no, look, I want to form a punk band. So I said to Steve, look, I'm thinking of forming a punk band. Could I put an ad in your magazine?
Brilliant.
And then I'll always admire this without missing a beat. He said, "Oh, I'll be in your band, Mark." Which is kind of how
That's how bands should be formed, I think.
Yes, there was no asking question. Just yeah, I'll do it. So we went down and just jammed a bit. And yeah, so we formed this band. It was called Vital Outlet. And that was
He's very Alan Partridge for some reason.
that was not the reaction I was wanting.
No, I'm sorry.
But anyway, and we had fun doing that for a bit. And then of course yourself with the early Human League and the Cabs were all out there, Graph. And so we were going to these things and thinking, oh, bloody hell. Hang on a minute. Right, let's do it. So another trip down to a swap shop, one on Orchard Walk, I think.
Oh, I think I remember the one, yeah.
Oh, I got a few things from there. You know, bought a little Korg Mini Pops beatbox. Yeah, you know, cheap amp. A beat up organ that looked like it was shed-ware. Do you know what I mean? Somebody's had made it in a shed. But anyway, put it through a WEM copycat. Fantastic.
There you go. That was Cabaret Voltaire's answer to everything, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing of putting the drum machine through the beatbox just was genius.
Yeah. I mean, we had a WEM copycat as well. I think it was every band had to have a WEM copycat.
Well, yeah, I love that bit where you turn it up, the regenerating, it goes, sort of thing. It just goes on forever, and then it starts morphing into what sounds like some kind of alien monster. He had a life. Well, I mean, that's what the Cabs were like to me live. It was just a banshee of electronic music. It just sound really just, but it was living and pulsing and moving. I just loved all that.
Yeah, it was great. Mussolini head kick.
Well, that first EP is my favorite. Yeah, absolutely. Do the Mussolini.
They would make your ears bleed. However, I mean, it was painfully upper mid-range. A lot of the mix. I think particularly in Richard's mind, he thought it was like some kind of kind of Jamaican dub tribute act. It was to an extent, but in reality, it was all But I prefer. God rest your soul, Richard. I mean, we were really good friends, but in fact, if it wasn't for Cabaret Voltaire, I don't think we'd have ever had a career. They were like our mentors, really.
Oh God, yeah.
So you got that far.
Sorry, go on.
You got this far with Vice Versa, and so you had a third member, didn't you?
Yes, David Sydenham was the third original member, and so we changed from Vital Outlet. I mean, I still like that. I think that's a goer. I keep trying to sell it to Steve, but he's not interested. I think there is a bag called Vital Outlet now. Yeah.
Fuck creme brulee.
Oh, the moment when he opens the cupboard drawer and it's dozens and dozens of demo tapes. Except one, only giving one away. Nobody else wanted one.
I've been there.
Still have that in my mind. And I think, oh, careful, Mo. Is this a creme brulee moment? Don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it turned into Vice Versa. And then, I mean, it was the whole indie thing starting, wasn't it? Just do it yourself, which is an offshoot of the punk ethos.
Yeah.
So it was just totally natural. Right. Obviously, we're going to start a little label, put things out ourselves. We did. Now, I was writing this at the same time as I was doing my A levels. I was at school when I was doing this. So by the end of the A levels, I'd got an independently released electronic music EP out. Yeah, looking back now, what?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So that that's how I got into that.
And
Plus,
sorry, if you could have chosen to sound like another group, realistically, I mean, you're never in reality going to sound like Kraftwerk. Like we loved Kraftwerk, but we were never going to sound like them. If you could have, what's the closest of what already existed to what you wanted to sound like? Do you think at that time?
Not one particular thing, because the way I remember the scene at that time, it was very fractured, and it was like everybody had a piece of the jigsaw, and we were all putting it together. This is another thing I miss about music, because at that time, it felt like it was a community endeavor.
Yes.
It's joint cultural endeavor. And for example, you would do something with the Human League in Sheffield. We'd hear it and go, well, that's fucking good. No, you would want to do something else. Yeah. And I'm not a football person, but to use a football analogy, it was like, somebody kicks the football to you and you're kicking it forward a bit, and then somebody tackles you and go, oh, no, this is a much better way to do it.
Yeah.
That was such good fun. It felt like a community mission.
Yes.
But that, I think, has rather gone as well. I'm not. You look doubtful.
No. I think it has. I was just thinking that was a kind of a sad sigh, actually, because I was thinking about literally the geographical nature of Sheffield. Of one end you've got in the city centre, just outside the city centre, you've got the Students' Union, where a lot of us used to hang out and mix with the students, even though we took the piss out of them. We used to. Part jealousy, part like, what are these bastards doing, spending our money, and that kind of thing. And then you got all those pubs coming down West Street and Devonshire Lane. And I used to live in Broomhall Flats. And then there's our studio, there's the Cab studio, there was Mr. Kite's, where we used to bump into you guys. And it was actually quite a tight-knit community. Very. An official thing. It's not something you decided to sign up for or you craved to be part of. It was just the nature of where people used to hang out together. Yeah, just small in at the centre of Sheffield for that.
Yes, I think these physical things are really important.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing that was really important was the availability of cheap rehearsal studios, art spaces, where you could actually. We were in a disused or rundown, decommissioned forge, Pond's Forge,
right,
off Pond Street.
Yeah.
And we were actually able to rent the bit that was the 4 offices. So we rehearsed in the director's room, like wood paneled, and quite handily, it had a huge steel safe in one corner that was like a walk-in job.
Wow.
So stuff that we thought was really, no, that's valuable, but we'll put it in there. And it was something like £2,000 a year to rent. It's nothing. And things were happening, kind of like how in New York, in that late 70s.
Tribeca and all that.
Yeah. I mean, they were giving away Soho lofts.
Yeah.
You have that, no problem. yeah, you're an artist. We've seen some of your paintings.
Yeah.
And so it just worked like that. Now every inch of New York is gentrified.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't it be great if they could find a way to repurpose the old John Lewis store in the city centre? Because it's a tragedy that's they're discussing it at the moment. I think the problem is there might be a problem with asbestos in terms of decommissioning it. But anyway, I mean, imagine if that one of the proposals was to convert it into, kind of a giant art space and offices and stuff like that.
You,
A cultural
it's a
cells.
very appropriate place. Yeah, cultural. I mean, Sheffield is all about that, isn't it? I mean, we had all that incredible industrial, innovative stuff. I mean, inventing stainless steel.
Yeah.
Now, I'm proud of that to this day. When I look at the Chrysler building and that amazing, and I think that wouldn't exist without Sheffield having invented
That's right.
stainless steel. We did all that. And then all this, it's been just going on for so long, this creative thing in Sheffield.
And the kind of making things, doing things first and then post-rationalizing it if you need to afterwards, rather than in the South. I mean, I've lived in London for nearly 35 years now.
Me too.
And it's all about pontificating and equivocating, right?
Isn't
Anyway,
it? As an investment.
What I was going to say, so you get a certain way that you release some stuff with vice versa, and you get a certain way down the line, and then you get interviewed by none other than Martin Fry.
Well, me and me, Steve, in going to the little local gigs in Sheffield, you couldn't fail to see Martin because he's like 6'6" or so. And at the time, he was wearing this leather jacket that seemed to have a life of its own. It was giant leather thing. So he was a character. And then we started to see his fanzine. So we, got chatting with him and he said, "Oh, guys, look, I'd love to interview you. I did the Human League, a month ago or whatever." So, great, fantastic. And Martin came, interviewed us. Now, this is another moment which is very similar to the one with Steve, because during that interview, now bear in mind, we have never really properly chatted with him in detail. We both looked at each other and just kind of went nodded. And I think, I don't know if it was me or Steve who said it, but look, we Martin, we're playing a gig in Middlesbrough in 10 days' time. And
Wow.
we've just lost our third member. Would you like to come along and, be in the band for that gig? Yeah. And it's bonkers, and he said, "But I don't play any instruments." I said, "It doesn't matter. We've got this little oscillator that I think Steve's uncle had made. Just put it through that echo thing, and you're gonna have a mic. So, and if you ever feel, motivated, do some backing vocals a la Mick Jones." That was the concept.
And you were the lead singer at the time, right?
Yes. Yeah. And like you do when you're 21 or something, it was just, yeah, go on, I'll give it a crack. So that was Martin in the band. And we were chuffed because it was the first time we'd ever got properly paid. And I'm sure it's because Martin, as being 6'7", just went, right, we're going to get, I think it was like 70 quid or something back then. Right, 70 quid. No quibbling. Here you are, sir. Middlesbrough's a rough place.
It is a bit, yeah, it is a bit.
It was the rock garden in the sort of docks area, I would call it.
I always remember, I mean, this is not meant to be an insult to anybody from Middlesbrough. I just find it amusing. There was a Brazilian footballer who moved to Middlesbrough to play for Middlesbrough when they were quite glamorous at one point in the late 80s, I think it was. Can't remember his name now. And the local paper did an interview with him. He left after a month, right? And they did an interview just before he left. And they said, the interviewer said, the journalist said, what do you I can't do the accent, but what do you think of Middlesbrough? And he said in kind of broken English, it's a strange and terrible place. Because they bought him this, they were renting this house right next to all the and everything. I was like going, can you imagine coming from Brazil to that anyway?
Rio,
exactly. So yeah, so vice versa, and you released some stuff, and what was the reaction in the press?
Pretty good. Sold a few thousand, great. Was doing all right in the indie charts. I mean, I was really chuffed recently to see there was one of these BBC documentaries. It was on Rough Trade. It was all about, how the indie thing started. And they did a shot from that time in Saturn, and they got the vice versa thing on the wall. I was like, oh,
nice.
Oh, that's nice. I would have never known that, being completely all Sheffield at that point.
Right.
Yeah, so that went really well. And then we got approached by some guy in Holland, in Rotterdam, who said, look, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Would you like to come over and record a track or two for me in Rotterdam? I'll pay for the session. Just come over and we'll work it all out then. So we went over, and it was great fun. I think it must have been about 1980, something like that. And we did it. And I think there was a Bowie album out, it might have been Logic, and we'd read that Bowie had said to his band, look, I'm just going to try and experiment now. I want everybody to swap their instruments. So in a fateful moment, I passed the mic to Martin and say, all right, you do the singing, Martin. I don't know what I was doing, bongos or something like that. It didn't really matter.
Electro bongos.
Yeah, and I think Steve just got a beatbox thing going. And then it started. And honestly, from the very first word, Martin just started singing. And it was like, my God, it's like Bowie on Young Americans.
Yeah.
Jaws dropped. We had no idea. Also, neither did he.
So he never pushed for it or anything. It wasn't.
It's even I would say, reluctant to do it in the first place.
How amazing is that?
It was just an intuitive thing, and chance and all that kind of thing, all aligned. And now, I don't think this has ever been done before. After that session was completed, I said, Martin, I'm resigning as singer of the band. Has that ever happened in this?
It's very rare.
I'm still waiting for the OBE. I don't know if I'll get it for the sophisti-pop music, but it will be for that moment.
Yeah, well done, because it would have been short of a few classic albums, I think.
So
I don't know. I've never heard you properly sing, so maybe not. Who knows?
No, Martin still has the crown.
Yeah, he's hard to beat.
I've got my own.
So right, when does this magical moment happen when you decide to
Rotterdam reread about 1980? So that became a sort of thing in our heads. Oh, this could go a different way.
Yeah.
And we came back and we were just really fired up, and it was But by this time, me and Steve were really into Chic.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely, just adored. And we went together to see Chic at Sheffield City Hall. And they were doing all Chic songs with a kind of Sister Sledge middle bit. And, you know, it was amazing. We went to the first showing, the first whatever sitting. And then we just said, that's so fucking good. Went round the corner, bought tickets again at the box office. Went in again.
Great.
And we were, this time we got wise to it. No, we were going to be dancing from the off.
Right.
Got up in the aisles, annoying everybody dancing. But Al Rogers said, hey, Sheffield, these guys have got the right idea. Come on. So we were like, wow. You know, give it a high five. Amazing. So that was brilliant. And so, yeah, we got the idea. No, look, we need to get a drummer and a real bass, a proper rhythm section.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd still kept up my guitar, and you know, I would call it white scratch funk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that kind of thing. So it just slowly morphed into that, and you know, we thought, oh well, we've seen the future here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, Martin, I cannot tell you how appalled I was when I learned on the grapevine in Sheffield. Oh, that's it. You're doing that? Yeah, that's funny. Heaven 17. They're using a real bass player, and oh, for fuck's sake.
Like never been used before, right? But
Yeah. Well, no, not at that time. It was on you.
I've got a story for you then at the same time.
Yeah.
When you did your first showcases, and one in London that Martin kindly invited us to. I've never been so impressed with a showcase before or since. I just thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. I just couldn't. What I couldn't believe is that this appeared, and obviously we know it's not the case, but this appeared to have emerged from the, fully formed from the chrysalis. This amazing exotic creature. It was just, what? How long have you been working on this shit? The songs were brilliant. The arrangements were brilliant. You look fantastic. It had enough kind of ingenue, kind of, I can't really explain it, kind of mawkishness with like Steve. Because he danced a bit like a kind of puppet, didn't he? And it's like, do you know what I mean? It clearly wasn't the Temptations, but with the influences and the way it sounded, and frankly, you had a great rhythm section as well. Because I'm a soul aficionado, more than electronic music, really, probably. And I was so impressed. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I forgot where I was up to in my story.
I think we're talking about the kind of start of ABC, really.
Well, I'll pick up with that gig you're talking about there. That was the all important showcase, and all the execs were in the room. All the majors were in the room. Now, I recently met Glenn Matlock.
Okay, it's a nice lad.
I know you know him. With a friend of mine, Terry, and he said, Mark, would you like to meet Glenn Matlock? I was like, oh, what? Yes, please. So, got talking, having a bit of a laugh. And then he said, oh, yeah, I've seen you guys. I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, do you remember that gig you did in Bayswater? Your showcase? He said, yeah, I was at the back of the room there.
Right.
I was thinking, oh, fucking hell, thank God I did not know.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd have been able to function. So that sproinged me at the time. Yeah. So that happened, and everybody was into signing a new band at that time, and it was very competitive, and we were in the incredible position of being able to play off a lot of the record companies.
Wow.
So it was fantastic. Signed to Phonogram.
Sorry, who was managing you at the time?
We were managing ourselves.
Oh, that's smart.
Turned out to be, yes, because, to this day, I'm still in control of, all my royalties and stuff. There's nobody taking a cut off it. I mean, that's pretty rare in the music business. And it's because of all these far-seeing decisions we made when we were really young. I mean, we got a really good lawyer.
Yeah, you need.
Who
was the lawyer? As a matter of interest.
I think it was Brian Carr.
Mine too.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
He was my mentor.
Oh, he did the Pistols, didn't he?
Yeah. And the Birmingham Six. Is it Birmingham Six? The ones who were falsely prosecuted, Farah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Has he retired?
Oh, he retired quite a way. He's not
Oh,
young now, isn't he?
I
I love Brian. He was really my. I mean, he was such a fantastic individual, I thought.
Yeah. And he was just a great mentor. Really looked after us and just made fantastic decisions on our behalf. Yeah. So, that did a lot of the work.
Yeah.
So I was like signed. I was 19 when I was signed to Phonogram. Again, it seems very young when I look back.
It is. Yeah.
And on top of the pops, age 20.
Wow. And looking after your own affairs, more or less, as well.
At that time. And then it was suggested we get in a manager because, frankly, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think record companies really like dealing with bands directly.
Well,
They don't like.
I found the opposite to be true. I thought that things went better for us when we dealt with them. But with Virgin, we actually lived, within 10 minutes walk of it. So we were in there all the time. So we had friends in all the different
Vernon Yard.
Vernon Yard, yeah. So it worked for us, but I think there came a time when we acknowledged it was too much for us. So that's when we got some help in. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it was suggested that we interview a guy called Rob Waugh.
He managed us as well.
Really?
Later, yeah.
He was Bob Last's business partner, wasn't
he? That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So Rob sort of came in. Lexicon had already been a hit by that point, but that created all this extra work that needed managing.
Yeah. So can't just skip over Lexicon of Love, one of the greatest albums created in the 1980s, in my view. Possibly one of the top 10, I would say.
Thank you.
But what a high bar to set. That's the issue with that album. It was a pop perfection. And, we all love Trevor's, he's made some amazing records. His work with Grace Jones, for instance, is just unsurpassed. And but that record,
backing vocals on that, on Slave to Love, doesn't he?
Glenn does, yeah.
Or is that
Slave to the Rhythm?
Keep it up, keep it up.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's only because we lived like about 300 yards away from Salem West at that point. Anyway, so yeah, but tell us about the making of Lexicon of Love. Because did you have all the songs ready before you went into the studio?
90%.
Right.
we had more songs than got used. And we initially, Trevor, we'd got a rehearsal room behind Whiteley's, Queensway.
Right.
And Trevor came to see us rehearse and said, I think that's a good one. Why don't you work on that? Even suggesting, look, don't you think that's actually the chorus?
Oh, I see.
But yeah, and doing a bit of that,
Yeah.
you know.
So doctrine, we call it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crafting the song, helping to craft the song. Also, as a third party going, I know you're really attached to that song, but this one's better.
Right.
The throwaway one that you do in 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Okay, that's always the case. Yeah, so that was really useful because it was clear he wasn't having anybody going in the studio and just muffing stuff and making shit up. And like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to like do a load of guff. No, he wouldn't have that. And with, so we started recording in Psalm East, which is, that was on Brick Lane. It's gone now. Tiny, tiny little place, nothing like Psalm West. Basement studio sort of thing. And what he wanted David to do, David Palmer, the drummer, he made him program it all into a TR-808, leg the TR-808 with just some guide chords and a scratch vocal, and said, Dave, you're going to have to double that TR-808, and you're going to have to do it so well, I want it to phase.
That's quite a challenge. Yeah.
Big ask. Guess what? David could do it.
Wow.
So precise.
Wow.
And yeah. So I could see what he was doing. That made him, Dave, really think about the part, be sure about the part, and then put it down, you know, as best he could. So we did that. And then I did a few guitar things with a few doodles that may or may not get used eventually. Bass was just live bass at that point. And Martin did his scratch vocal. Martin is brilliant. 1 take, 2 takes. He gets it. You know, I mean, insists on doing 10 other takes.
Yeah.
But, you know, like everybody does.
Yeah.
But so often the
First or second take, yeah.
first to second take is the one that actually gets used. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
just patching up the odd thing that was not quite in tune or on time. Yeah. So did that, and then he said, "I've got a few ideas for some keyboards. Do you mind me getting in a keyboard player?" Like, absolutely, go for it. We totally do. And then he got Anne Dudley in.
Nice.
And she did a lovely lady, and the talent just drips out of her fingers. Amazing. And she put some keyboards on it, and it was just amazing. When we went back into the studio, Trevor said, "Right, I'll just play you some of the overdubs, see what you think." It was like going from a black and white movie to a color. It was light bulbs going on overhead, all just beaming. And Trevor said, he looked at us and he knew, right, okay, I've got it. I know what they want now.
Yeah.
Because we were totally behind that. Did Poison Arrow, that came out as a single, I think in March 82, and did really well. I can't remember. It was a top 10 record, I think. You know, Anoraks will put me right, but I've no idea. And then carried on recording the rest of the album. And, you know, it just grew like, ooh, shall we get a 32-piece orchestra in?
Yeah.
And
I often think, I mean, we did the same thing with M17. It was like, in our view, if you really wanted it to be as timeless as possible, then you can't go wrong with an orchestra. That's just, it's just a fact. You know, we, in our mind, we wanted people still to be listening to our songs in 10 years' time, when maybe the landscape had changed in terms of fashion in music. But the one thing is,
how did we know?
yeah, I mean, 10 years is as far ahead as we could think. We thought, fucking old bastards, right? 30. My God, we'll probably be wrinkled by then.
How dare they? Yeah,
Look at us now, you know. But it was true, and I still believe that was a prescient thing to quite well. It's quite smart for young people to think that way. I think I'm quite proud of what, and you obviously thought the same thing.
Well, I don't think it was the durability thing for us that drove that decision. It was more about scale.
Right,
We wanted an epic scale,
right, right.
and that seemed to be the way to do it, you know. And a lot of the records we loved had got strings on.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the time, if you look back, people of our genre at that time, they weren't doing that.
Right.
It was quite, because they'd kind of gone out of fashion a bit. It was very much, no, we can just do this on a synth and it sounds
Yeah.
different.
I mean, yeah, interestingly enough, now thinking about it, because we, at the same time as we did Penthouse and Pavement, I was doing the British Electric Foundation album as well. And that was the opportunity to experiment outside the constraints of, if you like, the identity of M17. It was like you could do anything. And that's when we first got strings in. I thought, we're definitely going to do this with M17. So that's what we have. Because we did It's Over with Billy McKenzie. And it just, oh my God, he knocked it out of the park, of course. And but just the drama of the strings arrangements and all that stuff was so beautiful.
Where did you do them?
The Garden, which was John Fox's studio.
Wow. Okay.
Sure did.
And they could do a big orchestra in there.
It wasn't a big orchestra. It was like 25, I think, something like that, 25, 30.
Right.
Yeah, they had a fairly big live area. Yeah. Yeah, it's about the same size as places like Red Bus, for instance, stuff like that kind of size.
Well, we did ours in Abbey Road.
Okay. Sorry, not the likes of us, you know.
I think Anne had gotten in to there. So, but I mean, I remember I couldn't resist it. For one session, I said, please, can I just sit in the orchestra room while it's going on?
Oh, it's amazing.
It brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
Just hearing
Yeah.
that, it's never been recorded, in my opinion. I don't think you can reproduce it.
No.
But yeah, it was an incredible experience. Yeah. So
Tell us about when so you put out Look of Love, right? Was that the second single?
Yes.
Might have been, yeah. And that, for me, I mean, I'll poison arrow, that the Look of Love is if you think back to ABC at that period, that is the definitive performance on Top of the Pops. And like the dance routines, and I always remember there's one bit of the dance routine where he goes, "Look of Love," and Steve just misses one step and he's not quite in sync. And I thought that was the most charming thing I'd ever seen. And it kind of proved that it was live, you know, and I love things like that give you a sense of occasion. You know, it's not perfect. It's not. I just loved it all anyway.
That was a very silly moment.
Yeah.
But we talk about things having legs, enduring. I mean, I was watching the telly last night and a little advert comes on, Fox's chocolate biscuits. And I'm thinking, what's that? We're still using the orchestral version of Look of Love.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
So, ka-ching.
Good.
Yes.
We love
So
all that.
thank you, Fox's Chocolate Biscuit. Carry on the good work.
I think this is all going very well, and I think that I'm absolutely nowhere near getting through a third of my notes here. So what I'm going to suggest to you, I mean, we're not quite at an hour yet. What I'm going to suggest to you is that if you were interested, we could do a part 2 at some point in the next couple of months to cover the period after Lexicon of Love and
Yes, it gets a bit darker there.
yeah, but that's good as well. I like all that shit. Well, I don't like people suffering, but you know, because really, the one thing that I wasn't clear of in my mind was all the vice versa stuff, and I really wanted to dig a bit deeper into that. So that's why that's taken up.
But the one thing I would like to say about that is it was so not understood. And people like to say, oh, what happened? Why did you go from that to that? It's too and then I'm afraid they make this very wrong leap of logic that it was Martin arriving like some sort of sainted being. Where right, I'm gonna change this. It's not like that, Martin. Bands are never are like that. And it was the same creative processes going on in both things. So for us, there isn't this big interregnum and a completely different rule after it. It isn't like that.
But it's good to clarify that, I think, because
I mean, I don't think Martin thinks that, but it just gets said so often. And you know what it's like when things just get said often, they tend to be accepted.
I agree completely with you, and I've talked to Martin about it as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I know Martin really well, and we've hung out a lot together, and we've performed a lot together. In fact, we did that Steel City tour with the
I remember.
OBC, and he's quite. I mean, Martin, who is one of my best friends, and I love him to death, but he is quite a strong character. Because when I first met him, he was very quiet, and I didn't really. I thought, how come this guy has got like this alter ego on stage where he's super confident and and fluid, and his voice is so well crafted, and then you see him like in Mr. Kites, and he before that when he was in Vice Versa, and going very quiet, hardly ever said a word. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all about confidence, I suppose. Did you see him blossoming at that?
Yeah, and it was very quick.
Wow.
But I don't think as a person was different. I think he had those two sides when we first met him as well.
Right.
No, I think it's quite common in showbiz, isn't it? Very quiet people can be completely different. Put a camera on them or get on a stage.
It's a bit like going to a comedian, when you meet him in a pub or something. Go on, be funny, tell us a joke. It's like it's not really like that. But
You depressed, don't they?
Yeah. Did you hear the Steve Coogan episode, by the way? You should listen to that. It's really
No, not yet. No.
Oh, you should have a listen to that. Yeah, it's good. Because we spend 3/4 of the time talking about really serious shit, and I think he rarely gets asked about him as the rounded person, and I think there's a certain thing about Martin. He's now gone through this process over the decades where he has become he is a star, but he's become a kind of fleshed out version of the original intention, if you know what I mean. And I think I've just got a lot of admiration for him, and his voice is great. But one thing I want to discuss with you is his lyric writing is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, did he write the lyrics to a lot of those songs, or was it
Underestimated lyric writers in British pop, as far as concerned? Yeah, I mean, a complete poet.
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, it was just a fantastic privilege to be able to work with him.
Mm.
You know, because what more can you want than that?
You can't. You're just lucky to drop into the same, kind of bag at the same time. It's amazing, and and I think he took quite a lot of inspiration from kind of rock music's lyric writing. I mean, one thing that used to occur to me in the early Roxy albums is the kind of sense of that kind of droll wordplay, like deeper strand love, all that stuff, and the kind of evocation of period was very clever with Ferry, and he would claim he was influenced by Bob Dylan or something, which I'm not entirely sure about. But anyway, but what I saw in Martin, and still do to a certain extent, is I suspect that Martin viewed Ferry as the epitome of cool, even if he didn't want to sound like Ferry and look like Ferry. But that kind of like almost James Bond like kind of winking at the camera thing. I think that makes such a difference in lyric writing. That kind of sense of irony and sense of drollness.
Yes,
I love that.
absolutely. And, I mean, it was the years of postmodernism as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was okay to kind of quote obviously and not make any pretense that you weren't doing that, I mean, I think the Fairlight is the ultimate postmodern instrument.
Yeah,
It was
that's
like,
right.
finally, you could quote bits of other records, bits of other instruments, and just put them in, and it's part of the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Morley, who really was instrumental in early ABC, getting his great pieces in Enemy, and a really good advocate for us, said, "Oh yeah, you're the ABC, you're just a postmodern band."
Yes.
Mm.
That's quite.
And
I
it
was
will
like,
take me years to understand what that even bloody means, but I think it is.
did you see the postmodernism exhibition at the V&A?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved
isn't it? Yeah. We
Yeah.
both get
That
quoted in
little bit that made me laugh, where it was just, I don't know what it was. It was sort of the corner of a room, and there was a bust on a plinth, and something had fallen on the floor. I thought, oh God, this just looks like a David Mallet video
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
It was interesting.
Did he do your videos, by the way?
No. We did,
Who was it?
well, early on. I mean, I don't like any of the ABC videos until when Smokey sings. I don't. We're not really happy. Yeah. It was Brian, and I can't remember his name, but he did a lot of stuff.
Right.
He did Kim Wilde and people like that.
Oh, right. So it's like more kind of mainstream pop kind of video maker, right?
Yeah. And then in the cartoon period, we did some work with Peter Kay.
Oh, right.
Did all
Good.
Hams
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Amazing filmmaker.
Yeah.
That stuff was great. And then I really liked Vaughan and Anthea.
Right.
They did Terence Trent D'Arby.
Yeah. They were great videos. Those first. Yeah.
So glamorous.
Yeah.
Looked gorgeous. And it felt
glamorous, kind of not like too try hard. Yeah.
And also, lots of clever stuff in there that you have to look a couple of times at.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll call that a halt to the history bit, because I want to save the second 50% for the second episode, which we'll discuss later. This is a very rare thing. There's only Vince Clarke ever had 2 episodes. Oh, sorry, no, not even Vince Clarke. There's only Terence has had two episodes. Oh, sorry, Sananda. I'll get in trouble.
Under my prayer, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the smash hits thing. I know you did loads of smash hits questionnaire, so you'll appreciate all this. What's your favorite film?
Oh my God.
You can't go into any depth.
I'm not. I'm
Exam.
Blade Runner 1.
Sorry.
Blade Runner 1.
Oh yeah, definitely. Great film. Great film. TV. Can we contact
Favorite
old?
series of all time, X-Files.
I think that's not a bad call. That kind of started an entire genre, really, didn't it? And it's still watchable now.
Absolutely. I mean, I can just watch that on loop.
Yeah.
The entire box set.
Favorite book?
A to B and Back Again.
Who's that by?
Andy Warhol.
I see. I'm showing my ignorance. Is it? Well, what kind of book is it? Is it like autobiography or something? No.
It's I think it's his attempt to explain pop art.
Oh, okay. Okay. I shall have to read it now. You put me to shame.
I'm not a very bookish type, though, Martin.
Right.
I mean, my book. That's it. See.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 action men in there as well. Most of it's on board.
That's funny. I like
Like art books. Yeah.
Okay. So, who's your favorite visual artist then, or conceptual artist?
My favorite artist at the moment is Anish Kapoor.
Oh, okay. Have you seen a lot of his works in various locations?
You have?
Yeah, well, I have. Have you seen?
Oh, yeah.
His outdoor works are amazing, you know.
He did a fantastic installation in Hyde Park, Kensington Gardens, and he did 4 pieces: a giant sky mirror.
Yeah.
One in the middle of the round pond.
Yeah.
Doing a similar sort of thing, and then one of those concave convex mirrors.
Yeah.
Turning the world upside down. And you had to go around them, and it's reminding me of sort of like prehistoric
Oh yeah.
totem building, like, all right, let's build something that, and it represents some sort of world or something.
Oh, okay.
There's something about his work, to me, it's at the same time really easy to understand. You just look at it, you get it, and that's important to me. I don't like art you have to look at and go, what the fuck's that about?
Or it needs paragraphs of explanation. Yeah.
Well, have to sneak a little look at the white card and you go, oh, okay. No. Like music, it has to get you viscerally immediately.
I agree completely.
Anish, I also like Grayson Perry.
Right. He's nice.
Yeah. And I really like, from the past, I like the Dada period.
Yeah, me too.
Just the beginning of it all.
Dada, yeah.
There's a surreal thing coming up at Tate, isn't there? I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the great things about living in London, of course, is the access to all this stuff, which I never take for granted. That's the one thing I really would miss if I left London.
You know what? People were going on about how they miss their pubs non-stop. I personally didn't miss pubs. I'm not really a heavy pub goer.
No.
Missed the galleries like mad.
Yeah.
Thank God I got in to the Andy Warhol just as in its first few days. It was only on like a week or 2 weeks, and then put in mothballs.
Oh. Yeah, Warhol. Yeah, big influence on us all, I think.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite other musician, band, composer, past, present?
Okay. Composer. Don't listen to a lot of orchestral / classical music, but I really like that period, turn of the century,
Yeah.
up
Bootsy
to.
and all that.
I love.
Russian.
Um, well, I love Rafe Vaughan Williams.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Theme from Thomas Tallis or variation
Oh,
from it.
yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that
yeah.
takes you on a journey. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
I'm total with that man on the ride in that. He's on some incredible journey. Bits of Debussy,
Yeah,
bits of Delius, bits of Ravel.
yeah. Well, that's this genre. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of early 20th century Russian composers, you know, Shostakovich and yeah,
What's the
Shostakovich.
piano concerto?
I think number 5 is it? I actually did a piece with the Royal Ballet to that, believe it or not.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Epiphanal moment in your life.
Uh,
A moment of grand realization.
oh my bloody hell. I think the moment I just realized that I can do this,
Yeah.
you know, it seemed ridiculous. You know, I mean, my dad wanted me to be some kind of academic. And I'm saying, no, I'm leaving after A levels. I'm not an academic. And I'm going to get a job at the gas board so I can earn money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a musician. And then actually doing that and thinking, do you know what? This is actually coming together. I mean, I don't think I've ever felt encouraged by my parents in that way, but I'll give them full credit for never stopping me.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just went, you know,
Could they, if they wanted to?
no, they know. Well, the wisdom to just go.
Yeah.
There's no fighting here at all. There's no.
Yeah.
And they let me get on with it. And I now looking back, think what a fucking risk that was.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Insane. I mean, fortunately, it worked out,
Yeah.
and then some. So you know.
One of my epiphanal moments, which I don't think I don't think I've told this story before, but we were on second on the bill before we'd even started the Human League. We had a kind of daft fake band with the cabs and 2.3 and everything, and Salter Lane Art College called VDK and the Studs, and we were supporting the Drones, who were a punk band from Manchester, and we were terrible, but they came on and they were worse. And it was at that point we went, do you know, we can't be worse than that. Actually, it was like, we can do this. In the back of my mind, there was that, and actually going to a party at the Cabs house where they were playing. They had a big PA in the back garden, and they were playing Trans Europe Express, which I've never heard before, on a PA. And it just sounded incredible. I'm going, because it sounded like dance music. I never realized it before. It just freaked me. I went, that's what I want to do. And that was me.
Yeah, I kind of felt very skeptical that that was real, that these b-boys were dancing to that in New York, you know, and we went over there, very early ABC success in America, and I turned on the WBLS, you know, like the sort of urban station, and bloody hell, yes, they were playing Trans Europe Express, then some Bambata.
Yeah.
And blow me if they didn't put an ABC track in there as well.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
I bet you were chuffed for you.
Yeah, just, I mean, nearly dropped the thing into the bath.
I blame Arthur Baker, actually, because he's a good friend of mine as well. And all that stuff he did with, you know, Bambata and, you know, and basically, and he admitted it, he directly ripped off, you know, the classic beats from Kraftwerk and just recycled it endlessly and with different stuff on the top.
But that's the art, isn't it? The
Yeah.
beauty. It's just the synthesis was original.
It
the
was
synth stuff. That's what makes it what it is.
exactly. If you hadn't have been a musician, what do you think your alternative career would have been?
Very unhappy junkie.
That's not a career, though, is it?
I think it is for some people.
It's an alternative to a career.
No. Do you know what? Before, when leaving school, I don't know if you had these, but we had it was called the careers.
Yeah.
Lesson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the careers teacher, he was there, God bless him, to try and place you. Like, what is this kid gonna do?
Yeah.
Now, in their crazy, fucked up minds, they thought I'd be great working in a bank.
Oh.
Now, I sort of, in a sliding doors moment, multiverse theory thing, imagine if, that had played out and I'd gone to Leeds and I was working for Yorkshire Bank in Leeds, I would have gone insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I would have not also been able to express all the musical side. What the fuck would have happened to me?
Oh, nice.
That's why I'd say I think I would have just gone off the rails.
You know what my career officer said? He said, TV cameraman. I said, oh yeah, there's loads of those jobs in Sheffield. Thanks. Cheers.
And what cameraman?
A TV cameraman. Anyway,
Based on what?
I don't know. Some kind of psychometric testing, I suppose. They did. I don't know. No idea. Final question for episode 1. What's your favorite synth?
Well, favorite sound of synth is yours, Martin. System 100.
Is it?
Oh, beyond.
You're the first person in 80 episodes, apart from me, who said that.
Give over.
Yep.
That's mad. And then, okay, I never had one of those, but I might be lucky enough to acquire one soon. So I've really got my things.
Well, you'll never regret it, I assure you.
Yeah. I don't think I will. But first one I really, really owned and really, really, really liked was the Jupiter 4.
And I love that as well. That's my second.
Especially the arpeggiator.
Yes.
Now I've got you here. Was Dreams of Leaving made on that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. And we performed that live recently in Sheffield and at the Roundhouse. And I love recreating that was one of the biggest joys. Actually, I love that song. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can make all those with the Jupiter 4. You can make all those beautiful shimmering sounds with the fast arpeggiation.
Right.
Like on WXJL Tonight, for instance. That was just inspired by literally that machine. And the fact that you got such amazing control of the envelopes. So you, for the first time, really, in a polyphonic world, you could create an envelope that had a really, sharp, pingy front and had a realistic tail as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as all the components get cheaper and they make the things cheaper to maximize profits, the quality of it goes down and down and down until they're just like every other synth sound. But Roland sponsor me; they won't enjoy me saying that. But it's true though, because even the Jupiter 8 didn't sound as good as the Jupiter 4, even though it looked really better.
We had the rack version, the MKS80,
right?
Which I loved. I mean, that's got some, but I mean, rack things are really difficult to.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it? You need sliders and knobs, and that's the big problem for virtual synths is the fiddliness of dealing with it on a screen.
I know. I don't know why somebody doesn't just bring out a control surface that is just a load of knobs, a load of sliders, and you can just assign them. I know you can do this by MIDI, with the odd thing, but just something that will fits all synths kind of.
Yeah.
I think that's an intelligently just go, oh right, yeah, that's an Oberheim OB8, right? Okay, and then just flashes it up.
I think you can. I think there are some devices that can do that. But what you really need is motorized faders, don't you, and everything. Because otherwise, it's all just, again, you're back on a screen, just pushing a screen, And I like the visceral nature of.
Well, I mean, what you're doing with your hands there, you're doing two things at the same time. I mean, that's way harder on a virtual screen, and you. That was the interesting stuff.
Interestingly, I was just cleaning out my store cupboard, and I found a Korg MS20 controller that they brought out with the original virtual synth. And I've forgotten all about it. And I plugged it in, and it still works. It's fantastic. And it's got all the knobs, the original knobs on it. It doesn't sound as good as the original, but, the controller aspect of it and the way that you can tweak the sounds makes you work differently. Anyway, that's all we have time for today.
Sure.
It has been fantastic. Really an
immense
pleasure, immense fun. And we will continue with part 2 of the rise and fall and rise of Reginald Perrin later. All right, man. Listen, we need to go out. We need to go out for a meal or something soon. Yeah.
Van Diemen rules.
When with Bauer. Yeah. All right, then.
Yes.
See you too.
Cheers, Martin. Bye-bye.
Bye.